In September 2013, Sudan erupted in protest. President Omar al-Bashir's announcement of austerity measures, including the removal of fuel subsidies, ignited widespread anger. The government responded with brute force. Security forces opened fire on protesters, killing over 170 people. The world watched in horror as a peaceful movement was met with bloodshed. In the aftermath of the violence, Bashir made a fateful decision. He authorized the creation of a new paramilitary force, the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF. This group, drawn largely from the notorious Janjaweed militias, was tasked with crushing dissent and securing the regime's grip on power. The Janjaweed, infamous for their brutality in the Darfur conflict, brought their reign of terror to the streets of Sudan's cities. At the helm of the RSF was Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, better known as Hemeti. A former camel trader, Hemeti rose through the ranks of the Janjaweed, amassing power and wealth through violence and exploitation. His ruthlessness made him the ideal enforcer for Bashir's regime. Under Hemeti's command, the RSF quickly gained a reputation for brutality. They operated with impunity, terrorizing civilians and suppressing any sign of opposition. Bashir had unleashed a monster, and Sudan would pay a heavy price. Omar al-Bashir, a master manipulator, played a dangerous game. He deliberately fostered rivalries between the RSF and other security forces, including the army and intelligence services. This strategy, while seemingly reckless, was calculated to maintain his grip on power. By keeping his enemies divided, Bashir ensured that no single group could challenge his authority. The RSF, fueled by Bashir's patronage, grew rapidly in size and influence. Hemeti, a shrewd operator, understood the importance of diversifying his portfolio. He expanded the RSF's operations beyond Sudan's borders, sending his fighters to participate in regional conflicts, including the wars in Yemen and Mali. These deployments provided the RSF with valuable combat experience and access to lucrative smuggling networks. As Sudan's economy shifted from oil to gold, Hemeti saw an opportunity. The RSF seized control of lucrative gold mines, generating vast profits for Hemeti and his cronies. This illicit wealth further empowered the RSF, allowing them to acquire sophisticated weaponry and expand their influence. Bashir's gamble had backfired spectacularly. He had created a Frankenstein's monster, a force that would eventually turn on its creator and plunge Sudan into chaos. In 2019, after decades of iron-fisted rule, Bashir's reign came to an end. Mass protests, fueled by years of economic hardship and political repression, forced the dictator from power. The Sudanese people, long denied basic freedoms, dared to dream of a brighter future, a democratic Sudan governed by the rule of law. However, the transition to democracy proved treacherous. Despite their role in Bashir's downfall, Hemeti and the RSF remained a potent force. General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the head of the Sudanese Armed Forces, or SAF, emerged as another key player in the post-Bashir era. In a devastating blow to Sudan's fragile democracy, Burhan and Hemeti joined forces in October 2021, orchestrating a military coup that derailed the transition to civilian rule. The hopes of the Sudanese people were crushed. In the aftermath of the coup, Burhan and Hemeti attempted to consolidate their power. They signed a framework deal in December 2022, ostensibly aimed at restoring civilian rule. However, the deal was deeply flawed, riddled with loopholes that favored the military and the RSF. Disagreements over the integration of the RSF into the SAF, a key sticking point, further fueled tensions. In April 2023, Sudan descended into full-blown conflict. The rivalry between Burhan and Hemeti, once carefully managed by Bashir, exploded into violence. The streets of Khartoum, Sudan's capital, became battlegrounds as the SAF and RSF clashed in a deadly power struggle. The conflict in Sudan has had a catastrophic impact on the country and its people. Millions have been displaced from their homes, forced to flee the fighting. The healthcare system has collapsed, leaving millions without access to essential medical care. Food and water are scarce, and the threat of famine looms large. The international community has been slow to respond to the crisis. Regional powers, each with their agendas, have exacerbated the conflict through their involvement. Egypt, wary of instability on its southern border, has provided support to Burhan and the SAF. The United Arab Emirates, seeking to expand its influence in the Red Sea region, has backed Hemeti and the RSF. These external actors have fueled the conflict, turning Sudan into a proxy battleground for regional ambitions. Despite the bleak outlook, there is a glimmer of hope. The Sudanese people, particularly the youth, have shown remarkable resilience and determination. They continue to demand an end to the violence and a return to democratic rule. Civil society organizations, despite facing immense challenges, are working tirelessly to provide humanitarian assistance to those in need. The future of Sudan hangs in the balance. The international community must act decisively to end the violence, hold those responsible for atrocities accountable, and support the Sudanese people's aspirations for a peaceful and democratic future.